Yeah, Brian, could the red flag law have prevented the Kendallville shootout? An IU law professor I talked with last week says yes, while the Kendallville Police Department says they didn't see a serious enough threat to use the law in the first place. Take a listen. Nearly 11 hours of gunfire coming from an upstairs apartment in Kendallville. The shooter, 60-year-old Michael Emmons, died by his injuries.
For the last 2.5 years, we've had contact with him about 10 times.
Kendallville Police Chief Lance Waters says Emmons was a familiar face to them.
None of those incidents ever rose to the level of being criminal.
21 Investigates obtained 10 complaints showing Emmons made threats to the community, displayed erratic behavior, trespassed onto school property, and he had weapons. Friday, I talked with a law professor who believes Indiana's red flag law could have prevented the shootout. The law says once a person is deemed dangerous to themselves or others, they cannot possess, own, rent, buy, or sell a firearm. Did you guys ever consider using the red flag law?
We never had any indication that Mr. Emmons possessed firearms.
Chief Waters says the law was never initiated because they didn't know he had any guns, only other weapons such as a bow and arrow and a knife.
In a search warrant, you have to indicate what you're searching for and the area where that item might be located. We can't say because someone has a bow and arrow that they have firearms.
Waters says when someone is a danger to themselves mentally or physically, officers can issue a crisis intervention. Then they'll be detained and booked into a hospital for 24 hours. Why wasn't that utilized?
We never got to the point where we felt that we had enough to even do the CIT.
Why was that? I guess, for people.
Because the incidents weren't that serious. Mr. Emmons was never putting himself or anyone else in danger. The closest we came to it was when he was on school property with a knife.
He says the department never saw a legitimate threat with Emmons, only evidence of mental health struggles.
Just because someone is having a mental episode doesn't mean that we could go search their residence to see if they have firearms. They're still protected under the Fourth Amendment.
And we are still working to find out just how many weapons were removed from Emmons' apartment. We do have video showing several guns, bows, and even swords coming out of that apartment. I did reach out to the Indiana State Police, and they said they are still working with the prosecutor's office to find out this information, and they'll be releasing it to us when they can. For 21 Investigates, I'm Carly Van Cleve.